What's up everyone and welcome back to Top 5 Central. Today we're looking at the top 10 most insane waterfalls you won't believe exist. Now on our channel we have a series called You Won't Believe Exists where we take a look at 10 of the craziest things, and today we're doing waterfalls. If you want a free shout out, make sure you comment what we should do in next week's episode, and also don't forget to subscribe as every week we'll be shouting out new subscribers. Also, let's see if we can smash 5,000 likes on this video, but with that said, let's get right into it. Number 10, Angel Falls. Now with a name like Angel Falls, you're probably expecting this place to be pretty cool, and the good news is you're totally right. Angel Falls is the world's highest uninterrupted waterfall, where the water flows for 807 meters without hitting the ground. In fact, the translation of its original name is actually quote-unquote the fall from the highest point, which as well as sounding super awesome is actually pretty accurate. Tourism is possible, but you have to trek through an isolated jungle to get there, so I think maybe for this one, we should just stick to looking at the pretty pictures.
Angel Falls, the highest waterfall in the world.
Number 9, Victoria Falls. Victoria Falls is another one with a super cool name, because even though Victoria doesn't sound all that special, the translation of its native name is literally the smoke that thunders. I mean, technically it isn't the tallest or the widest waterfall in the world, but it is famous for being the biggest, and you can't really get better than that. Like, just for some context, it's twice the size of Niagara Falls, and it's capable of creating the world's biggest sheet of falling water. Pretty cool, right?
Wall of water below, or just before the wall, is about 12 feet deep. We have two approaches to getting in here. One is crawling, which I will opt for, or diving in to allow you to kind of look over the fall while he's holding onto your leg. I think two people from China.
Number 8, the Blood Falls. Now, if you ever want to visit this next waterfall, you better be prepared to take a long vacation, because you'd have to find your way to East Antarctica if you ever wanted a shot at seeing it. With that said, there really isn't anything like it. I mean, seeing blood red water pouring out from between the huge white blocks is pretty once in a lifetime. That's not even the coolest part though, because the waterfall is only the beginning. Under the ice is a huge pool of blood red water, so secret that no one in the world knows exactly how big it is. Number 7, Bygar Waterfall. Okay, I totally pronounced that wrong, so I'm super sorry about that. Anyways, there are so many interesting things about this waterfall that it's actually hard to know where to begin, so let's just say that it's super unique. Like, not only is it exactly on the halfway point between the equator and the North Pole, but it looks pretty crazy, and the way the water falls is actually really rare. Like, it's famous for the way the water spreads and falls in tiny little shards, and to be honest, I could see why, because it really is one of the most beautiful sights in the whole world. Number 6, Plitvice Lakes National Park. So I've got to admit, I don't know if this actually counts as one waterfall since the water splits off and goes in so many different directions. With that said, basically the whole of Plitvice National Park in Croatia looks insanely cool, and the waterfall is just the icing on the cake. I mean, there are actually 16 lakes in total and 2 major waterfalls that all combine to make this little pocket of nature that's basically stayed undisturbed for years. Honestly, it's well worth a visit, but if all you could do is look at the footage, then that's fine too, because it's impossible not to notice just how amazing it looks. Number 5. Havasu Canyon Falls. The Havasu Canyon Falls are another case where it isn't just one waterfall, but I've gotta admit, it's pretty impressive all the same. Havasu Falls is the biggest and most impressive, but there are also Mooney Falls, Beaver Falls, and 2 new ones that haven't been named yet. Sadly though, Navajo Falls no longer exists since it was destroyed in a huge flood back in 2008, but the good news is the whole area is now open to the public. Like, the whole region is owned and operated as a tourist attraction, so anyone could go and soak in the beauty of the waterfalls all for themselves. Number 4. Devil's Kettle Falls. Now, there's a good chance you might have heard of this one, because the Devil's Kettle in Minnesota has actually had its fair share of press in the past few years. It's famous for its crazy looking rock formation, which makes it look like half the river drops into a pothole and straight up disappears. In fact, people were so spooked by this that they used to drop rocks and sticks into the waterfall, just to freak themselves out when their stuff never resurfaced. There's even a rumor that someone once disposed of a car in the caves below, but I honestly have no idea if that's true.
Could it be that one of Minnesota's oldest natural mystery is about to be solved?
Well, the Devil's Kettle Falls at Judge C.R. Magny State Park have stumped tourists and scientists for decades. That's because one side of the split waterfall simply vanishes into rock with no apparent outlet.
If you've ever visited the North Shore, you've no doubt been in awe of the jagged rock and tumbling waterfalls, and perplexed by one in particular.
It's a big hole. Black hole.
There's still no real confirmation as to where the water goes once it goes in.
This is Devil's Kettle on the Brule River near Grand Marais.
Number 3. Horizontal Falls. David Attenborough has basically seen everything in his time, so if he says something is amazing, then it's a good bet that it probably is. When it comes to Horizontal Falls, he actually called it one of the greatest wonders of the natural world, and it's actually not that hard to see why. I mean, a waterfall of up to 5 meters high doesn't sound like much, but when you realize they're going sideways, it becomes absolutely incredible. And so yeah, I know what you're probably thinking. It sounds like it should be completely impossible, but it's actually totally real science. It happens when seawater builds up on one side much faster than the other.
Now, looking back at our run, we were aiming for the smoother water to the side. But as we entered the current, it shot us 10 meters sideways in less than a second. Not a nice feeling, and it wasn't over yet. Out of nowhere, a huge whirlpool forms in front of us. Won't be doing that again real soon. And that is the power of the horizontal waterfalls.
Yep, our 2 travellers have had enough.
Number 2. Ruby Falls. Now, this is another one you could actually go see with your own eyes, and honestly, it's so cool that I'm not surprised so many people do. Ruby Falls is an underwater waterfall that's over 145 feet high, and it's been around for literally millions of years, making it not just a tourist attraction, but a major piece of history. If you're ever in Tennessee, you could go inside and take a look for yourself, as the whole cave has been rigged with neon lights to make the waterfall glow and shine. Number 1. Batara Gorge Waterfall. Now honestly, this isn't just a list of waterfalls that look cool, but even if it was, this one probably would have still won. I mean, not only does the waterfall drop 255 meters into a pothole, but even the cave it drops into is famous for being awesome, and it's not hard to see why. Like, the cave is also known as the Cave of the Three Bridges, because the waterfalls pass 3 natural rock paths, rising one above the other, and overhanging a huge chasm descending into a mountain. I mean, seriously, you can't get more Lord of the Rings than that. And there's a video on the top 10 waterfalls you won't believe exist. If you enjoyed the video, please feel free to leave a like down below and subscribe so you see whenever I upload a video. Also, if you have your own top 5 or top 10 idea, feel free to use your Extremely Handy form in the description to submit it. With that said, thank you all for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.